Welcome to a beautiful autumnal morning here in the Scottish Highlands. I've got my warm coat on again and my beanie hat, and I'm very happy about it. I've come to Inch Marshes and I'm doing the Invertromy Trail, which takes depends how quickly you want to do it, but at least an hour and 2.5, and it's such a lovely trail because it's so varied. You've got birch woodlands, you've got the marshes. Maybe see a wee bit over there. There is hides as well, but I don't tend to go in when I've got the dog because I don't think you're really meant to take the dogs in the hides, but I'll maybe show you the lookout when I get back because that's really lovely. But yeah, I thought I'd take you along on a cosy Sunday because I feel like we've not done that in a while, and autumn's definitely here now. I know I've been banging on about autumn since essentially August, but we are late September now and it is actually the autumn equinox today, which is very exciting. So it's perfectly timed on a Sunday as well, so I feel like it's the best day to really throw ourselves into autumn, really romanticize it. So I thought I'd obviously start with a walk. We've had a really lovely weather week actually. It's been actually quite warm during the day, but the mornings are cool, and the last couple of mornings have been really foggy, which I've loved. That's my favourite weather. I was kind of hoping it would be like that today, but it's fairly foggy. There's a little bit of atmospheric vibe going on. And then I definitely want to do some baking later on because I want to make some more granola because I found a really great recipe that's really simple but really yummy. So I want to share that with you guys and probably do a little bit of book chat as well, as always. So yeah, I'm going to take you on a nice cozy Sunday with me. I love spending time in my tiny kitchen any day of the week, but especially on a Sunday. This is when I tend to do my more baking, food prep, and like I said, I've been obsessed with making granola recently, and my granola jar is looking very empty, so we're going to make some more of this today. So I found this recipe on BBC Good Food, I think, so I'll link it down below. I think I've pretty much stuck to what they've suggested. It's like a simple nut granola. So I've tried various recipes before. I tried Pick Up Limes as a really lovely one, but I would say that one takes a bit longer. I think it's a bit more faffy. The thing about BBC Good Food that I really like with their recipes is they're always pretty simple and they don't require too many fancy ingredients, so that means they tend to be a bit more budget friendly as well. So I've written the recipe out because I've mentioned before that I get really annoyed using online recipe pages with all the adverts and having to turn it on and off and stuff like that. So I've gone old school and I got this recipe book from Amazon, I think, and you can just write up your recipes. So in here I've got just copied out recipes, or I've got my own recipes that I've made, and it also means I can, because I pretty much tweak every recipe I ever use because I just do that, I can write notes and stuff to myself at the bottom, so I remember, because I'm that person that makes something and then goes back to the recipe and I'm like, did I vary this? I can't remember, so it keeps things clearer for me. So the basis of granola, or at least this one, is really quite simple. Just oats, so these are rolled oats or whole oats. They're the best for it, rather than the porridge oats. Oh Jesus, just slam that into the ceiling. That I use. I think again you could call these steel cut oats. So I use these for porridge. or my overnight oats even, and then I use this for baking a lot of the time. And then to basically make it all the oats stick together, you use a combination of coconut oil, so you need to melt this in the microwave or in a pan, and some sort of syrup. So I'm using maple syrup if I have enough of this. In terms of flavours, obviously, oh my god, I'm so glad I checked that. That's cumin. That's not what we want. We want cinnamon. That's more the vibe of this. I have actually done that before. I made a bagel with peanut butter and sliced banana on it, which I always top with cinnamon, and I topped it with cumin by accident, and there was no saving that. I had to get rid of it. It was, yeah, it was pretty grim. So cinnamon, and then that's the basis of it, and then you can add what you want. This is a nut granola, so they've just said like do a combination of like roughly chopped nuts. So I've got always had pecans and almonds that work really well, and I think the original recipe also suggested some dried fruit or some dried apple and stuff. I tend to just make it with this because you roast the nuts with it in the granola, because that makes it go all like nice and roasted flavour, and then I add in fruit if I want it, so I can add in like raisins, cranberries, maybe even like chopped apricots. You can make it your own. That's what we're going to be doing this morning, which is a lovely cosy autumnal activity. So I've got this ready to go in the oven now. Word of warning, it's very easy to burn. I definitely charred my last batch a little bit, so make sure you put it on like quite a low setting, 160, 170, and stir it halfway and just keep an eye on it. It says it takes 20 minutes, but it might be like a couple of minutes shy of that, so yeah. I'm gonna try and not burn this batch. Hiya baby. She's so funny. As soon as I get the camera out, she starts posing, don't you? Yes. I want to look pretty for the peoples. You do look pretty, angels. You do look pretty. Always. Licking my hand because I've got granola on it. Cheeky monkey. Are you a cheeky monkey? Are you a cheeky monkey? Excuse the mess. I've just had my lunch, which had like a pearl barley and vegetable soup, which was very nice, and I haven't done any other dishes for making the granola yet, but I had to show you how it turned out. Look at this! It turned out so good! It turned out way better than my first attempt. You've even got like clumps. It properly stuck together. The odd nuts may be a bit overdone, but overall, like, it turned out really well. So the key, I think, is, yeah, definitely keep the temperature quite low. Definitely stir it, and also like properly take the tray out the oven. Don't do what I did, just stick a wooden spoon in and hope for the best. Take it out the oven, turn it all over, and then push it down a little bit so that the syrup sticks together. And this is going to be the ideal autumn snack coming up. I like to have this by itself, on top of Weetabix, on top of banana bread. I just think having some granola in the house, homemade granola, you can't really go wrong. And now I've got to clean up. I've just made myself a wee cuppa and thought this would be the perfect opportunity to give you guys a wee tea tour, because I actually had that request recently and I've had it more than once because I do drink a lot of tea and some people might want to know some recommendations. I primarily drink tea, but keen-eyed viewers have noticed that I drink coffee occasionally, but I only tend to drink that when I'm out and about at cafes. I don't make coffee from home and I tend to have to just have like a latte or like a less strong coffee. I often opt for decaf as well because I do find I'm quite affected by caffeine if I have too much. So even with my teas, you know, I'll drink more caffeinated teas in the morning, but then in the afternoon I tend to avoid caffeine. In terms of my kind of everyday breakfast tea, has to be Clipper. I either get this one or their, I think they're organic. This isn't the organic version. I tend to get the organic version unless this one's on deal because it is a little bit more pricey. Not crazy expensive, but we go through a lot of tea, me and my partner, so you know, save the pennies where we can. So yeah, Clipper all day long. I don't vary with that. That's an absolute necessity for me. We also have some decaf Clipper, in all honesty, only because my partner bought this by accident, because when you send men shopping, it doesn't always go as planned. So, but he actually quite likes a cup of tea in the evening, so he's actually been making his way through that. And then in terms of green tea, I've had a few people mention, and also a few people in my life saying they don't like green tea, which I totally get, because when I first started it I didn't like it, but it is really good for you. So what I did and what I recommend is, first of all, make it weaker, you know, build up your tolerance to it, and also get flavoured green teas. So I alternate between the lemon, I use just Twinings because again it's budget friendly but still nice, the lemon green tea or the mint green tea. And yeah, and I'll have maybe one of these in the morning after my breakfast tea if I need some more caffeine, or after lunch. And then my ultimate autumn tea has to be the classic apple and cinnamon, specifically this brand, Heath and Heather. I have tried a lot of apple and cinnamon tea in my time. It's just my favourite flavour combination and they've all been lovely. I've tried the pucker one, I've tried I think the yogi one, but this one I just have to say hits that balance really well. It's just a really rich flavoured tea. I just love it, and I try and just keep it in the autumn winter because then I can look forward to it. So yes, the first box I've got so far this autumn and I'm already a lot of the way through it, so I have one of those most days. And then to be honest, I just alternate when it comes to other teas, whatever catches my eye. So I've got a couple of yogis which do such a variety of teas that it's really fun to like go to the health food shop and see what else I can pick up. This one was a impulse, ginger and lemon, because I thought that would be nice and refreshing, and I had a wee cold recently and this was really lovely to have to help like kind of soothe my throat. And I really love ginger anything, and I really love hot water and lemon, so I thought this would be a safe bet and I have been enjoying that. I swiped this from my mum because she actually didn't like it and I knew I would have this before, and I do like this one. So it's the rose one with hibiscus and lavender flowers, so I find that's like a really nice calming tea. I also really like the woman's tea or the woman's energy tea from Yogi. That's another good one, especially like to have that around my like time of the month. But yeah, I think I'm going to enjoy this now and maybe take it to the garden because the sun's come out and read a little bit of my book. Oh my god, before I read my book, I forgot one of the most important teas in my life, which is peppermint tea. I forgot because I don't know how to keep it in a box. I have that much peppermint tea usually that I keep it in this wee jar instead. But yeah, anyone that knows me knows I love my peppermint tea. I've always had a bit of a sensitive tongue, so if I have any tummy issues I have this. I have one every evening with my dark chocolate and I often have it just through the day. So yeah, peppermint tea is another fail safe, and to be honest I go for any brand of it at the moment. I think this is like Tesco own. Now let's go read. I hope you can hear me over all the crows. We have a lot of crows in our garden because they love roosting in like the big larch trees at the bottom of the garden, so apologies for that background track, but I just wanted to say quickly how much I'm enjoying this book. I love nature memoirs, but I have to say the last couple I've read I've been a bit disappointed with. I talked in my wrap up of my summer reading on my Substack that I was disappointed in The Easternmost House, quite like badly disappointed, so it's really lovely to be able to like pick one up that I'm really gelling with. It's about the author who's lost a husband sadly. He passed away quite suddenly, and it's about a bit about that grief and her going through that, but it's mostly about how spending time in nature heals her, and especially focusing on mushrooms. Like she gets really into mushrooms, she starts books, like learning all of them. She's based in Norway but from Malaysia originally, so it's a nice mix of like having that kind of personal reflection but also like lots of interesting information about mushrooms, which is something that I'm always been fascinated by. I'd love to learn more about. So yeah, it's just got a really lovely tone, really readable. At the moment I'm about halfway through, and yeah, I'm highly recommending it. It's just a lovely read.